All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to AdvocateHub Class. This week's class is going to be on the topic of evaluating challenge performance. As you can see, we have a little train here. This is to show you that we're going to go on a journey through the data in AdvocateHub to figure out how to evaluate how our challenges are doing. And then hopefully, after we find that out, we'll be able to improve our challenges based on this data. So, today your teacher is me, Don. As you may know, Heather is now moved away to Southeast Asia. So now it's me teaching the classes from now on. So I'll be your teacher today. And I'd like to start by giving some special thanks to Julia, who is our advocacy coach, and Chad, who is our director of customer operations. He provided me with a lot of the insights and the strategy behind this class. So let's begin. In today's class, we're going to have 4 stops, 4 parts. We're going to begin by talking about challenge completion numbers, looking at challenge completion numbers, looking at how many people have completed certain your challenges. Second stop, challenge engagement. So these are popular challenges. We'll look at finding the most engaging challenges and challenge types. The third stop will be active versus engaged advocates. So what does it mean when you have too many active advocates and not enough engaged advocates? And finally, the fourth stop will be investigating challenge dismissals. So what challenges are being dismissed a lot by your advocates, and what can we take from that? And before we go on, we have to make sure we review what challenges are considered engaging. Before we talk about what challenges are engaging to your advocates, we have to remember what type of challenges does Influitive consider to be engaging. And just a hint, there are none of these. So all of these challenges, so we have the workflow, advocate workflow, accept a challenge, like on Facebook, check into a location, follow on Twitter, join AdvocateHub groups, etc. All of these are considered to be not engaging. So why are these not engaging? These can be very useful to your organization, but they're valuable the first time. So you get a lot of follows when your advocate first joins, but it's not something that can be done multiple times by the same advocate. One advocate can follow you on Twitter once. So if an advocate only joins and only follows you on Twitter, joins your LinkedIn group, etc., that is not considered to be an engaged advocate. These are too easy. So all of the other types of challenge, answer questions, surveys, referrals, these are considered engaging challenges. So we'll try not to have too many of these types of non-engaging challenges in our hub. So let's begin at our first stop, which is challenge completion count. But before I begin, I just want to let you know that all of the data we're going to be looking at today is coming from VIP. So our Influitive VIP, which many of you are probably already advocates in. So this data will obviously not be the same as that in your hub. The challenge types will be different, the challenges will be different. But the idea is that if you follow this method of investigation into your data, you should also yield some results which are beneficial to your hub. So even though what we find today, the numbers will be different from yours, just if you follow this method, I hope it will help you to improve your challenge performance. So the first stop is challenge completion. So you may know this is very easy. This is the first glance at how your challenges are doing. Very easy to find this one. When you click on the challenges list, you can filter on the right side of the page. You can filter by many things: created at, completed count, dismissed count. So we're going to focus first on completed count. This is where you can get just a quick glance at what challenge is the most popular, what challenges are the most popular. So here is an example. This is the list of the most popular challenges in VIP. So if we start at the top, let me see, I'll try to highlight these. Okay. So we start at the top. This one is follow on Twitter. That is the highest completion. However, if you remember, we don't consider this one to be an engaging challenge. So this is a one-off challenge. So this is not going to help us when we're trying to think of good, engaging challenge ideas. So we don't want that one. So we'll X that. Intro challenge, that's again, everybody does that the first time. Join our LinkedIn group. This is also what we consider not very engaging. It's a one-off thing. Now, customer referrals challenge. Again, one of the problems of looking at your challenge list by challenges completed, we can see that this has 234 people who completed it, but I also happen to know that this challenge is very old. This challenge is from 2012. So that is not going to help us now. So you have to think about, is this challenge popular, or is it just have a lot of completions because it's old? And the same thing, this is join an AdvocateHub group. That was that's a one-off as well. But now we get to here. This is a question stage. A survey stage, answer some questions. We call this is where we ask our advocates for their birthday. So this is useful. We get a lot of information from here. And you can see that this one is also very popular. And I know that this one has only been around for a few months. So it's relevant now in determining what kind of challenges our advocates like to do. And same with this one, all advocacy or advocate marketing. So this is a challenge, a survey challenge, where we ask advocates to give their feedback on whether they think we should call the industry advocate marketing or advocacy marketing. This is also only a couple of months old, and we already have 157 completions. And at the bottom, the last one on this list is Mark, our CEO, his welcome video. This one is also very old, so we can kind of take that one away. So just from the first glance, we can see kind of two interesting challenges that have a lot of completion. So we want to look at these challenges, try to figure out what is so great about these challenges, or are they useful? Should we try to emulate them, clone them? So we can zoom in on these challenges. These are two totally different types of challenges, but both are asking questions from advocates. The first one, again, advocacy marketing or advocate marketing. This had a lot of completion, but if you take a look on the right side of the challenge page, you will see this performance area. And you should look at this performance area closely. So you don't want to just know the number of completed. You want to know the performance. So of the people who are eligible to complete this challenge, 8% completed it. So I know that this challenge was open to about 1,700 people, and only 157 completed it. So at first you think this is very, very popular among all advocates, but it's just because it was open to so many people. So it might not be as useful as you think. And the next one, however, this has 48% completion. This has 168 people who completed it. It was open to around 180 people, 180 advocates, but 48%. So that's almost half of the people who could complete this challenge actually completed it. So that is very useful. That's good to know. What does that tell us about our challenge? What our advocates like to do? Our advocates like to tell us about themselves. So that's one thing to note. We can try to think about other kind of challenges that will solicit feedback or solicit information about the advocate. So that's just VIP advocates. Your advocates may be the same as well. But the point is here, the moral of this story is to look at not just the completion number, but also the performance, the percentage. How many of the eligible advocates actually completed this challenge? So let's go over the takeaways. Just a quick glance at the challenges sorted by number of completions. So the takeaway is, don't just look at the number of completions. Just looking at how many people completed a challenge is not useful. You want to know, is this considered an engaged challenge? So like to follow us on Twitter, 300 people completed that challenge, but that's not considered a good challenge. It's good for a one-off challenge, but it's considered too easy to be called engaging. And the age, does this challenge, is it showing up at the top of the list because it's just old? Or is it actually one that we want to reproduce? And finally, always look at the performance. When you have challenges with a high percentage of completion, then you want to think about, how can I emulate that success? How can I recreate that success using that kind of challenge? So, but we don't want to start there. Don't stop there. We have to dig deeper. If you just start and you finish in a challenge completion list, that is not going to be very helpful. So where is the second stop? The second stop on our journey is the challenge engagement report. So we're going to travel over to the right side of the toolbar on the top of your AdvocateHub, and we're going to click on the reports. And under the reports section, you will see the challenge engagement tab. Now this is a good way to see recent challenge engagement. You can actually choose any timeline, any date that you want, but for the purposes of this, we're going to look at challenges that were popular among advocates in the past 6 months. But you can choose any time you want. Instead of just what challenges have the highest completion of all time, it's better to think about what is popular these days. So to find out what is popular these days, we're going to, our VIP advocates like to do surveys. We're going to look into what kind of surveys that is, and social shares, that kind of thing, and informative is coming in third. So we're going to look at these three top challenge types: surveys, social, and informative. So in VIP, so actually, I'll go back here. When you click on any of these challenge types on this bar, you can drill down. So if you click on any of these, you will be presented with a list that looks something like this. To get these lists, I clicked on the bar for survey type, social type, and informative type. So here we can see a list of the challenges, and I sorted these challenges by challenge completion. And remember, maybe I didn't mention this, but we are looking at challenge completions in the last 6 months. So this is a very useful place to start looking at what kind of challenges are very popular among your advocates recently. So if we look at the survey stage, we see there are a lot of survey completions. That is the most popular type, with over 200 completions. So what does that tell us? So this tells us about VIP advocates. So this says VIP advocates like to share their opinions about our company, about Influitive, about VIP, and about the industry of advocate marketing. So that, just based on all these challenges, we can see that advocates like to share their thoughts on our organization and on our industry. So if there's lots of social types of completion, what does that tell us? Our advocates are active on social media. Noted. So we know about VIP advocates, we like to share. We like to share types of ebooks. We like to share reports. We like to share lots of things on social media. And finally, informative. So if informative type challenges are the third most popular in VIP, what does that tell us? That tells us our hub is a place for advocates to come to learn. So our customers come to learn about AdvocateHub. The most popular challenge was about the release notes notification, the importance of a break, referral primer articles. So some of these are general type informative challenges, but also some are education about our product, the release notes, or more about business, about referral primer, that's more about the industry. So based on these three types, to sum up, VIP advocates like to share their opinion, they like to share our content on social media, and they like to come to VIP to get informed. So in your hub, I recommend going to this challenge completion by challenge type report and finding the top types of challenges, and then using those as kind of an idea of what kind of challenges you should be completing or creating in the future. So next step, we're going to look at the report called Challenge Engagement Rate. So if you remember at the beginning, we talked about the performance of the challenge. So that's what this one is. These are not the most popular challenges necessarily, but these are the challenges that have the highest engagement rate. So we have in VIP many segments of advocates. We have partners, customers, employees. So these, among those different segments, we have different challenges targeted at them. So we can find which challenges among these groups have the highest engagement rate. So it may not be available to everybody, but which challenges are completed by the highest percentage of people. And how can we see that? Oh, sorry, let's go back here. So I'm just going to look at the advocate suggestion, which is the highest engagement rate, and I'm going to look at informative. But unfortunately, the title is not showing here, so this is informative type challenges. Those are the highest two engagement types. So here we can see, when we click on those again, you'll be able to see a list of your challenges that have the highest percentage of completion. And in that report, you will be able to sort by engagement. It's hard to see right here, but you can even export this into an Excel sheet, sort by engagement, and this will tell you, it will give you a list of the highest engaging challenges. So here, informative type challenges, and these are advocate suggestions. So taking from this, I went through these reports and I found some of the most engaging challenges in VIP. That is, what challenges, of all the people who could possibly complete this challenge, which ones have the highest rate. So the first, among customers, the highest rate of completion is the employee advocacy survey. So again, our customers like to tell us what they think about the industry or tell us about their hub, how they're doing, how they're using our product. Employees, the highest engaging one was rating the Influitive t-shirts. So we made some new Influitive t-shirts, everybody rated them, and then we ordered the most popular one. Employees like to rate our food vendors, so the caterers that we get in the office. And going down the list, you can see all of the highest engaging challenges in VIP. And in your hub, you can do the same. Find out which challenges have the highest percentage of completion, and then try to create more challenges like that. So based on these challenges, and you can look in your reports and try to find some key learnings about your advocate. But these are key learnings about VIP advocates. So challenges which are relevant to a segment are most engaging. So employees like to talk about their experience at work. That's good for that segment. This customer segment, customers like to talk about the industry, how they're using our product. And generally informative challenges seem to be engaging across all segments. So you want to give your advocates a reason to come in to your hub. They can learn something. So that includes challenges like the cell phone charging myths and that kind of thing. And then finally, industry-related informational challenges are also engaging in VIP. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. So the third stop, we're going to be talking about engaged versus active advocates. So how can we find this? So we're still in the report section. Click on the Advocate Engagement tab, and then scroll down to the section that says Monthly and Engaged Advocates. Here we can see a bar chart over the past 3 months. We have engaged on the right and active on the left. So this is pretty good. This is VIP numbers. We're doing very well. We don't have too many more active advocates. That means not many more advocates are just doing easy tasks like follow on Twitter, like on Facebook. An equal number of advocates are also doing more engaging activities. So that's good. That means VIP is doing very well. If you see these even or even higher engaged, this is very useful. Oh, Lori Shepard asked me a question. Am I showing the product? I'm just showing PowerPoint. Yeah, I'm just showing things I pulled from PowerPoint. I took screenshots from the product and put them in PowerPoint. You can find these by following the reports. So reports, advocate engagement, monthly engaged advocates. You'll also be able to find these by following these instructions. Sorry if that was confusing, but you'll see the same types if you go into your report section in your hub. Just in the interest of time, I just pulled out a few key charts. Okay, so what happens? What does this mean? So if you look in VIP, it's pretty even. Active versus engaged, looking pretty good. And too many active versus engaged. What does that mean? If I have way too many active advocates and not enough engaged advocates, what does that mean? It's maybe nice that I have a lot of advocates doing a lot of things, but that is not necessarily good. So this means that there are not enough engaging challenges. Forgive my typo. This could also mean that advocates only join and only do the easy stuff. They follow on Twitter, like on Facebook, join LinkedIn group, and then they just quit. You may have many advocates come in 1 month, they just do the easy stuff, and then they leave. That would happen. That would be a reason why you would have a really high active versus engaged advocate rate. So you want to keep those more even and preferably have higher engaged. And the final reason is perhaps you're not creating the right types of challenges, using the right types of stages. So if you remember advocate workflow and corporate workflow, these are not considered engaging challenge stages. So how can you fix that? First, why not change the advocate workflow to a question? So these kind of advocate workflow is used when you want to ask an advocate to accept something. But many people, in my experience, I've seen many administrators use this one to say, go here and do this, and then come back. But that could, so go to a website, comment on a blog, and come back using the advocate workflow challenge stage type. But this is an engaging activity, but you're not using the right kind of stage type. So there, you might want to use a question, or you might want to use online action type stage in addition to your corporate confirmation. So just make sure you're not using too many of this type of stage, of the advocate workflow stage. That could also skew your reports slightly. Okay. Now the final stop, we're going to investigate challenge dismissal. So what does that mean? You know that every advocate, when they see a challenge, they do have the option to dismiss it. So if you see this too often, you probably want to know why are they doing this, or what types of challenges are being dismissed often. Are they just grumpy people? They don't want to dismiss, they don't want to do this challenge, so they hit dismiss? Maybe not. So how can we find that? In order for me to show you that, I'm going to switch and share my desktop with you. All right. So here is VIP. And if you scroll down on the dashboard, here on the dashboard, we have this activity feed. This activity feed is very useful. We can filter by many types of activities to get a good, just a picture of what is happening. So let's look at dismissed. If we filter by challenge was dismissed by advocate, we can see a list of all the types of challenges, of which challenges are being dismissed. So recently, you can see a lot of people are dismissing Mark's talk. So the video where our CEO Mark, and a lot of people are dismissing the puzzle. So why, when you go through that, just keep going through your list of dismissed challenges to see if you see a trend. So if you see a trend, what does that mean? Let's head back. Okay. So why would someone dismiss challenges? If you see a trend of people dismissing the same challenges over and over again, this could mean many things. One, it could mean the challenge is too old. So like that one where you saw Mark's talk, the video, it's a couple years old. Nobody wants to do it anymore. It's not interesting, maybe. So people are dismissing it. A lot of people are dismissing that one. Is it too difficult? So the puzzle, maybe that puzzle is just too difficult. Too many people don't want to do it. So maybe you can think about making an easier puzzle next time. Or it could indicate that our advocates don't want to do puzzles. That's not why they came. Maybe it's too time-consuming. It's not interesting to them. So these are reasons why you would want to find these dismissed challenges, if you can see some kind of pattern about which challenges are being dismissed more often. And to wrap up, we're going to review. So here are some key points from today's lesson. Be wary of the challenge completion numbers. So if you remember, just sorting your challenge list by completed does not mean that much. It could be completed many times because it's just been in the system for so long. This means, number two, you want to find the challenges with the highest engagement rate, not the challenges with the highest completion number. And keep a close eye on the ratio of active versus engaged advocates. If you have too many active advocates, remember, maybe you have too many easy challenges, not enough challenges that the advocate keep coming back and engaging with. And finally, using the dismissed filter on your activity feed, you can find out which challenges are being dismissed the most often. And maybe this way you can improve them. And that is all for now. But that was a lot of information very quickly. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can ask in the chat. You can ask on the phone. But for right now, we're going to get Hope, our operator, to offer to get some questions from you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to register a question, please press star followed by the 1 on your telephone keypad. If your question has been answered and you would like to withdraw your registration, please press the pound key. One moment for your first question. Again, if you'd like to register a question, press star 1.
All right. So I hope there's no questions, looks like.
There are no audio questions at this time.
Okay, and we have looks like we don't have any questions in the chat. All right. Okay. I know that was a quick overview of all of the various types of reports. Actually, not all of them. It was just a quick view of the ones you should look at first. If you do have any questions, these are the kind of things your advocacy coach will talk with you about. You know, what kind of reports you should look at, how you can evaluate the engagement of your challenges. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to us at support@influitive.com. Alternatively, you could head to support.influitive.com and check out the knowledge base, where you can find all kinds of information about how you can find the reports I discussed today. Or you can go to the discussion forum, where you can talk about what you learned today. Or if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the discussion forum as well. And since it looks like we have no more questions, I guess we'll call that a day. Everybody, thank you for coming to class, and I'll see you next time where we will talk about Dreamforce, strategizing for Dreamforce. So see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.